I always told myself that if I ever get the honor of doing a TED Talk, I would start it off like this. Pia Alonzo Wurtzbach, 32, Philippines. Good evening, everyone. I'm Pia, and I'm most popularly known as Miss Universe from 2015, that year where Steve Harvey made the infamous mistake of announcing the wrong winner, Miss Colombia, first. It's still a crazy memory even after all these years. Winning Miss Universe opened many doors for me. I am currently a UNAIDS Goodwill Ambassador for Asia and the Pacific. I support local and international organizations helping people living with HIV. I'm an advocate for women's health, women's rights, mental health, and I'm also a WWF Philippines ambassador. Aside from that, I'm also an actress. I endorse multiple brands. I host a series of shows, podcasts, and other events. It sounds like the dream life, doesn't it? Girl joins a beauty pageant, wins it, almost didn't, and moves on with her life doing amazing things. But seriously now, I tell you this, the struggle was so real. Behind that night, the crown, the gowns, the smiles, and all the success, it masked the troubles that was happening in here and in here. My father left when I was 9, so I started working and I became the breadwinner of my family at 11, balancing schoolwork and a single-parent family. By my 20s, I was still a struggling actress. I couldn't get a break, and despite sounding glamorous, when I say actress, you actually earn very little from modeling and acting, especially in the Philippines, and especially when you're young and starting out. We lived paycheck to paycheck, moving to smaller and smaller homes. And I remember once we moved to a tiny home next to a river, and whenever there would be a typhoon, the flood water would come sweeping in, chest deep, and we struggled to save our things being taken by the water. I wouldn't wish my childhood on anyone, but this chapter of my life taught me the value of money, the value of good work ethics, taught me how to be responsible, mature, and independent. Lessons that you don't learn in school at that age. My first serious relationship was an abusive one, and it was one of the hardest times of my life. I was psychologically manipulated, physically and mentally, psychologically, I was drained. He made me quit my job. I stopped seeing my friends. I stopped making my own money. I gave him everything I had. Financially, mentally, emotionally, I gave it all. The best thing I did was find the courage to break up with him and jump into my passion, pageants. I decided to join Binibining Pilipinas or Miss Philippines, but even that was far from easy. I wasn't welcome in that space because I'm only half Filipino and I have a foreign-sounding last name. And of course, I was teased to death for being a failed actress who's now trying her bet at a beauty pageant. I lost the first time I tried, and I was devastated. So I joined again the next year, and I lost that too. I had no money. I was sleeping in friends' houses. I was borrowing money, and I even slept in my car with my dog when I had no home of my own. But I never stopped fighting for my dream. The third year I competed, people thought I was crazy for even trying again because nobody joins for 3 times. But third time's a charm indeed, and I was lucky. The stars finally aligned and I got it. I won the top prize and all of the hard work paid off, and I finally earned my ticket to represent the Philippines at Miss Universe. That chapter of my life taught me the value of perseverance, determination, being tenacious, unshakable, and tough. When I competed at Miss Universe, I felt the weight of the country on my shoulders. It was 42 years since the Philippines won again before I did. And pageants are the closest thing that we have to a national sport. Despite the dramatic night, winning was one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had. My homecoming parade alone was 6 hours long along the major roads of Metro Manila with around 1.4 million people in attendance. If I ran for president that day, maybe I could have won. I felt like I was on top of the world. Now, I wish I could tell you that this part was the switch of my fate and fortune, where things turned for the better and it was all plain sailing from there. Maybe it was to many people who saw me and who saw my journey. From the outside, it looked like the perfect fairy tale ending to a lifelong struggle of family breaking apart, financial struggles, and dreams being pushed away. Yeah, maybe from afar it did look perfect, but the reality was far from it. What people saw after my reign was a Cinderella story and a happy ending, but I was struggling even more inside. What happens is, when you win Miss Universe, you're usually given a psychiatrist because you need that. When your life is suddenly changed overnight, you need help. Especially for me, with thousands of people sending me death threats. It was during those sessions that I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder and major depression. All of the pain and the suffering I endured all my life caught up to me and manifested itself in an ugly, self-destructive way. You'd think that the crown and the title would be the bandage to all of that. You'd think that it would be enough to make sense of all the pain and the rejection, but it didn't. I never really faced or acknowledged that I was sad. Because when you're struggling to make ends meet, you don't think about yourself anymore. There's no time to think about how you feel. When your family is dependent on you, there's no time to think about you. And when the whole country is looking at you, there's no time to worry about your personal interests. There's no time to think about your mental health. All these years, I've been putting my personal feelings aside, away even, to make room for others, for my family, for my country, for my dreams. I realized that I'm what you call a person with high-functioning anxiety. Because while from the outside, I was still fulfilling my duties as Miss Universe and working nonstop and traveling to different countries, working with different organizations, I wasn't missing a beat at all. And nobody saw it. I was always on time. I never missed a day of work, actually. And I just kept going. But as soon as the doors of my room closed, I was a different person. The thoughts, the doubt, the worry in my head were louder than the cheers. I had unhealthy coping habits, plural, and I'll say it straight up. I became anorexic and I was self-harming. I was pulling my hair, a condition called trichotillomania. And in the four corners of my room, I also abused alcohol. I was deteriorating. I would just sit there, dwelling in my pain, crying. I felt so alone. It was nothing like the life people thought I had. I realized that all of the things that I didn't address when I was younger came back to me in a big and harmful way. You can't escape it no matter how successful you become. It was like a poison slowly killing me. All my life, my purpose was to please others, to fit in, to be the Miss Universe everybody wanted me to be. And so I kept it all to myself, even though I was slowly deteriorating inside, because I couldn't imagine disappointing my country. Imagine being celebrated as a strong, resilient, and determined woman, but deep inside you're going through that. I felt like a fraud. Thankfully, the Miss Universe organization came to my rescue. They saw and treated me like family. They saw what I was going through and they helped me in a big way. Discreetly, they arranged the help and the support that I needed, and they introduced me to professionals that could help me. I went through multiple therapy sessions in New York and in LA, and they gave me the tools that I needed to be okay. Again, I was lucky. Under the care of the president of the organization, who is a woman, I was able to keep my privacy during this very difficult time. And I think that's important, that you're not forced into healing and that you're going through it at your own pace and at your own time. I finally felt like, wow, so this is what it feels like to have a family, to be in a family, and for them to really care about you and your well-being. Very easily, they could have let me go or have the first runner-up replace me. But I was determined to stay strong, to continue my mission, my purpose, and to turn things around. I wanted to face my demons and finally take care of my heart, something I didn't do or never cared to do. In this next chapter of my life, I feel like breaking free from all of the things everybody thought I should be. All my life, I've been working towards being accepted, fitting in, being the perfect Miss Universe everybody wants me to be. But what does that really mean? What does it mean to be a beauty queen nowadays? Purpose is what I've learned. Today is the first time I'm opening about my mental health struggles in public, because I want to paint a picture not of a perfect beauty queen, but of a real person with real life experiences. There's no shame in admitting that you aren't perfect, and there's no shame in admitting that you need help. I'm sure there are many people out there who are working hard, trying to stay afloat, alive, trying to hold on to their dreams and making it come true, all while taking care of the people around them. Many of us are hustling every day. And people see you and they think, wow, congratulations, you're doing so well. But they don't know what's happening inside. They don't know what struggles you've had to bury or put aside to make way for others. I know that feeling. And trust me, you are not alone. There is a pressure to fit in, to be the best, and prove why you deserve to be there. And that feeling is all real and valid. Today, there are only around 800 registered psychiatrists in the Philippines. 800. For a population of almost 110 million. I think we can all agree that this is a problem. I was lucky that I had a family that took me in and let me go through my healing process without the unnecessary drama and publicity. But not everyone is as lucky and as privileged as me. And this is where I step in and use my voice and use this platform to shed light on this and to normalize these conversations. We need to erase the stigma that somebody who is going through a mental health issue is seen as crazy or overacting, and that high-functioning individuals like me, who look like they got their life figured out, who look like they're okay on the outside, could also be going through something inside that they're too afraid to share because they don't want to let you down or they don't want to disappoint. Whoever you are and whatever you've been through, you are not alone. Talking about your struggles is okay. I'm proud and happy that I can finally talk to you about mine. December 20, 2015 was the night that changed my life. My final question at Miss Universe was, why should you be the next Miss Universe? To which I answered, to be a Miss Universe is both an honor and a responsibility. If I become Miss Universe, I will use my voice to influence the youth, and I would raise awareness to certain causes like HIV awareness that is timely and relevant to my country, which is the Philippines. I want to show the world, the universe rather, that I am confidently beautiful with a heart. Tonight, December 2, 2021, almost 6 years after that night, I want to reflect on this question. How do you show the world, or the universe rather, that you are confidently beautiful with a heart? My answer is, in this next chapter of your life, choose you this time. That regardless of the struggles, regardless of your imperfections and missteps, it's what's in here that matters. I want to remind you to stay true to yourself and to your purpose. And I hope you do it with all your heart. Thank you.